You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Powered by Seahawks.com. Now, here's your host, Nasser Kyobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. The Seahawks fall to the 49ers 17-13 in heartbreaking fashion, Bump. It was a really rough game. I'm not going to lie to you. Not because of how the Seahawks played, but just emotionally. It's the 49ers. It's your rival. It's at home. Week one, the game counts, and it so close.
It was a battle, division battle. These are the type of games you expect when you play against the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals. But, it was tough. 12s were out. They were supporting. They were loud. It was loud in Lumen. We appreciate that. You got to see Sam Darnold and his offense go. This defense, you lose Imawari early. Who knows how that affects this team. But it was a battle, man. You had a chance to win the game, just couldn't pull through.
Yeah, no question about it. And thank you for mentioning the 12s because they did show up. It was super loud. It's unfortunate because when you look at the TV copy, you see some red behind the visitors' bench. But if you look at the entire stadium, 12s were out there.
It was out there.
It was loud. They made it a tough time on Brock Purdy. He got pressured 57% of the time, some kind of a career high against him. So it was really tough to see what happened. Unfortunately, the Seahawks do fall to 0-1 in the regular season. I know they'll be ready for Week 18 for that rematch. But we're here to talk about what exactly happened against the 49ers. What had happened?
See, what had happened was
On Hawk Talk.
This is a game, Bump. I'm going to go out and say it. I think the Hawks should have won this game.
Yep.
It's not one where you go, man, if we just did this and that. It's like, no, every game you can say comes down to, 5 or so plays that decide the game. I understand that. But I really feel like the Seahawks had this game won. Unfortunately, the rivals come into Lumen Field and win for the fourth consecutive time. We just mentioned it. The atmosphere is crazy. The 12s brought the energy. But division games are tough. Every single division game is going to be a battle. And the cool thing about this for me, Bump, is in years past, the last three games we lost to 49ers at home, those games started off, you were immediately down 17-0, and you were clawing, scratching, doing everything you could to get back in the football game. This was not the case. You were in control of a lot of this game. You played well, and that's why it hurt so much. But the game got kicked off. Seahawks punted on their first possession after 4 plays. 49ers come back with a 14-play, 95-yard drive, ended with a 5-yard touchdown to George Kittle. 49ers, though, were helped out tremendously by Seahawks forced a stop on 3rd and 9. We get flagged for roughing the passer penalty, which gave the 49ers an extra set of downs.
Yeah, I don't know about that penalty. I kind of understand why the ref calls it, but it's like, look, you got to be a human being in that moment and not just go off of a feel, right? What did you see in that moment? So, no, didn't agree with it, but that is football. You got to deal with some adversity at times, and the Seahawks would respond. They go 10 plays, 69 yards, ended with a 1-yard touchdown to Zach Charbonnet. Nice to see Zach touch the football about 12 times that game. The drive was helped by a 21-yard reception by JSN, a direct snap by A.J. Barner on 3rd down. There was a pass interference call drawn by Cooper Kupp. So you get some contributions from several places. The next 4 drives will end in punts for both teams, though.
Yeah, so this kind of felt, like I said, a heavyweight battle kind of early on, those Harbaugh, Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, Legion of Boom type Seahawks. That's what this game felt like. Yep. And talking to people around that were in the stadium, Bump, it felt like a playoff atmosphere.
It did.
People were hitting it. That's the type of football game this was. The 49ers, though, would get something going on the following drive. They would go 12 plays, 58 yards, but would get no points after Jake Moody hit the upright, missing a 27-yard field goal. And we talked about this on the postgame show. He missed the field goal, but the Seahawks PAT block/field goal block team was on point today. We'll talk about what happened later. But I feel like this miss was influenced by the pressure of Leonard Williams in the middle, making that thing happen. Seahawks get the ball back with 57 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Darnold led a great drive going 8 plays, 50 yards, which ended with a 48-yard field goal by Jason Myers. But what I loved about that, on that drive, you have a 23-yard big play, explosive play to JSN. That was a theme of the game. JSN was going off. But you also had probably one of the best calls of the game, which is a nice design run for Sam Darnold. You motion everybody to the left, you pull everybody to the right, and he scampers off for a 9-yard gain, essentially locking up that field goal. So that was really cool as the Seahawks took a 10-7 lead in half.
Don't sleep on his mobility. Don't sleep on it, man, especially when you got an escort about 300 pounds apiece of offensive linemen leading you that way. So, great design, great execution. I like that. And then you get into the third quarter. Ernest Jones picks off Brock Purdy. The Seahawks were not able to take advantage of. That was the thing. You get that turnover. You're feeling good, just can't take advantage of that situation. The 49ers would respond with a nice drive, taking up 8 minutes on the clock, driving 57 yards for 14 plays. However, they walked away with no points. Jay Love, you talked about the special teams unit, blocked Jake Moody's field goal, and the Hawks are feeling good, 10-7.
Yeah, and Julian Love, blocking punts and blocking kicks, is an art. You got to get skinny. You got to try to separate in between. And Julian Love, for everyone watching out there, high school, college, NFL, that is teach tape. That is how you go get a field goal block. He's done it before, did it against Patriots last year. So that was cool. But unfortunately, Bump, Seahawks give it right back, as Jay said, fumbled. He had a 2-yard gain, was trying to fight for yards upfield. He put the ball on the ground, which is tough because, like we said, he had a tremendous day, but that one hurt. 49ers would take advantage with another long drive going 11 plays, 52 yards. Seahawks would hold in the red zone, forcing the field goal, which tied the score up at 10 apiece.
10-10, you're in a good situation. You're feeling good. The Hawks went 3-and-out on the following drive, giving the ball back to San Francisco, but 2 plays later, Brock Purdy threw his second interception of the game, and he was picked off by Josh Jobe, who had himself a nice little game, man. I was happy for Josh. Now, the Hawks would take advantage with 6 straight runs, getting deep into 49ers territory, but after a 6-yard completion to Cooper Kupp, the Seahawks found themselves in 4th and 1. They opted to take the points, and Jason Myers added a 37-yard field goal, making the score 13-10 with 3 minutes left. 3 minutes remaining. I was okay with that situation.
100%.
People are questioning, they should have won for it. Listen, you take the points. You mentioned this felt like a playoff game. In a playoff game, you take the points. So I was completely fine with that situation.
Well, especially not only that, at home, your defense is playing well.
Yeah.
Okay, McCaffrey isn't going off. You've intercepted Brock Purdy 2 times. You're playing good football. I 1,000% agree with the call. Your defensive unit right now is the strength of this football team, and you're going to lean on them in crunch time. But the 49ers, unfortunately, they're going to go 68 yards on 7 plays, ending with a Jake Tungus touchdown. 49ers go up 17-13 with 1:34 left in the game. That play was set up by a 45-yard pass from Brock Purdy, finding Ricky Pearsall up the sideline. That one was tough. I feel like 9 times out of 10, I think Reek Woolen will make that play again. Yep. We know how talented he is. I think he got right back in phase after the double move. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to time that one up. And then the touchdown. Well, that looked like a broken play.
It did.
And especially in the secondary, the back 7, you can do everything right on a play like that for 10 seconds. But if you miss the last 0.1 at the end, it's still going to be washed. Tungus makes a great play. Reek's kind of not off balance, but he's drifting in a different direction, and dude just ripped it from him, and it's tough. But that's what it was. I thought Reek was in great coverage. I expect good things from him moving on. But Bump, take us through that last drive. This was tough, man.
Yeah, it was tough, man. Sam Darnold then took the ball and marched the Seahawks right down the field. He hit JSN with an 11-yard gain on first down. Then after an incompletion, he found JSN for a 40-yard gain up the sideline. That was beautiful. A honey hole shot in between the safety and the corner over there. But then, you think you're in the zone. You're feeling good about yourself. You're inside the red zone. Sam Darnold goes back to pass, and the ball disappears when he throws his arm up. And I'm thinking, please have that hand be going forward. Please have that hand be going forward. But what happens, unfortunately, Abe Lucas gets pushed back into him, and he runs into him, ball is dropped, fumble, Nick Bosa recovers. And the worst part about that is that it was Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is a great football player. He's been a thorn in our you-know-what for years, and for him to make that play in that moment, that hurt. So it was just unfortunate. You turn the ball over, Niners one play, take a knee, game over. But you had a chance to win that ball game, even with some decision-making that some people didn't like with the field goal or whatnot. So be it. You take the points. But you respond, you're driving down the field, you have a chance to win. That's all you can ask for in a game like this.
No question about it. Again, the Niners, a rival, you got to beat them. They've been top of this division for a long time. The Seahawks are right there. If you would have told me, Bump, that the offensive line only gave up 1 sack before the game, I would take that a million times and twice on Sunday. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be for the Seahawks. The Niners did outgain the Hawks 384 to 230. 49ers ran 72 plays compared to the Seahawks 50 in time of possession. Coach McDonald spoke about that in his radio show this morning, that time of possession was the biggest factor / stat that he looked at. 49ers 37-58 to the Seahawks 22-02. And again, though, I will stand by this. I'll stand on business on this. I think this is a game the Seahawks should have won. I cannot wait for this matchup again because I'm sure it'll decide some really important playoff implications down there in Week 18. 49ers made a couple more plays than Seahawks did, and they were able to come out with a victory. But, Bump, there were a ton of playmakers.
Touchdown, Seahawks! Playmakers.
Show them what time it is.
Holy catfish!
All right, first one we got to talk about JSN. 9 receptions for 134 yards on 13 targets. This was the 4th 100-yard game of Jackson's career, and it started off hot. second play, first play of the game, actually. He goes across the middle for a big, 20-something yard game, and you felt like he has arrived as the number one guy. Everyone is asking, can he be that number one guy? I believe there was little doubt in this building if he could do that or not, and he showed up, man, and showed out. You get 13 targets on 23 attempts from Sam Darnold. He's clearly leaning on you to make some plays. He did exactly that.
No, he was great, and honestly, there's a couple plays that he probably thought he could have made. There's the one up the sideline, which should have increased his stats. That's a really hard play, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he should have made it. Right. I'm just saying Jackson holds such a high standard of himself that he thinks he should make every play, any ball thrown in his direction. He knows he can come down with it. So JSN, like you said, has proven he's a number one receiver, and he played like it on Sunday. Sam Darnold, I thought he played well, Bump. 16 to 23, 150 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. You know, the stats aren't going to wow you. The Seahawks didn't have enough plays. Honestly, I think 50 plays, you want more than that. But I liked what I saw from him. He took care of the football. He didn't force anything. He took what the defense gave him. So I was okay with what I saw from Sam.
Yeah, I was good with Sam. He seemed clear-minded and assertive with his decision-making, and that's all you can ask for. Once that run game gets going eventually, I think it's going to open everything else up. All right, Jay Love, player of the game for us when we did our post-game show. 10 tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 1 quarterback hit, and a blocked field goal. Jay Love is the dependable veteran in the back. You ask him to do anything, he'll do that. You send him on a blitz, he's good. He stays over the top. A solid week 1 by Jay Love.
Yeah, no question. He's Mr. Do Everything Right, like you said. I mean, any stat line you have, 1 sack, 1 TFL, 1 QB hit, 1 block field goal, you're doing everything right. You're dependable. He's a smart dude, and you love to lean on number 20. And then you got Ernest Jones. We talked about Ernest Jones so much since last year, how this defense changed when he came on this team. It was night and day. The Seahawks were having trouble stopping anybody. He comes onto this team, it completely shifts what they're doing on defense, and he's just a leader. We talked about this extensively on the postgame show last night. Check out the Seahawks Rewind podcast if you want to hear any of that conversation. But Ernest Jones, man, he gets up to the podium, and you can just see how much it means to him.
Yeah.
How much he's going through a lot right now, obviously, but just how much this game means to him. And here's the true mark of a good leader. He comes out there, 8 tackles, 1 TFL, 2 pass defense, and 1 interception, which we'll talk about here very shortly. But what does he say at the podium? I got to be a better leader. I got to play better. I got to do. And it's like, if one of the best players on the team is talking like that after playing a good game, that's what you love to see from number 13.
That's what leaders do. They step in front of the crowd, and they step in front of their team, and they take the bullets. You know, even if you're trying to shoot at your guys behind him, he goes, nah, it's me. I'm the leader of this squad. Y'all talk to me and y'all do this. I loved it. And he had one of the best shirts we've seen during the postgame with his pops all on there. So big ups to Ernest Jones, man. And DeMarcus Lawrence had himself a good debut as well. 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 quarterback hit. He also scooped up the block kick that Jay Love had. He scooped it up. Cool seeing number 0 out there. I went and watched the film on him. People are knocking him for his age. He got some juice left, man. Don't sleep on DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm really intrigued with this box right now when it comes to the linebackers and the defensive linemen, because there's a mix of old and young in that thing, and I think they're going to continue to grow.
All of them. Whether it might not have showed up in the stat sheet as much, but I thought D-Law played well. Yeah. Leonard Williams, he was great. 7 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 QB hit. Jay Reed, Byron Murphy, all as like you said, as a unit. I love how they're playing football, and they're, like I said, when you get after Brock Purdy as much as they did and Bump. Gosh, I wish I had the stat in front of me, but I saw something today. ESPN Stats and Info, I believe, put this out there. Trent Williams gave up the most pressure he has given up in any game since he's been on the 49ers on Sunday. And now that didn't show up with a 4-sack game or whatever, but Trent, I think, is still, despite his age, one of the best to play that position in the National Football League. So I think that shows what we got going on with the Seahawks up front in that front 7. Bump, the receiver roundup, not a whole lot here outside of JSN.
No, receiver roundup, but we talked about JSN, 9 receptions for 124 on 13 targets. You got Cooper Kupp, 2 receptions for 15 yards on 3 targets. Arroyo had 1 for 7. Ken Walker had 3 for 4. And A.J. Barner had a reception, no yards gained there. Something tells me this is going to be a bit thicker next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But good start to the season for JSN. Establish yourself as the number 1, and then everyone else will fill in the gaps.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, the first line on that, you got to love it. I love what JSN did. And again, we talked about it again on the postgame show. I feel like Cooper Kupp is going to have more than 3 targets moving forward. We know how good he is.
Guarantee that.
Arroyo, Torrey Horton, Jake Bobo, Drake Young weren't playing. So things will change there. I'm not worried about that at all. But we're going to shift it over. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Some of the plays of the game. There was a lot of plays in the game, but we're going to look at some from the Seahawks point of view and just some really big plays that help them stay in this football game and kind of a precursor of what we hope to see moving forward throughout this season. The first one we're going to talk about is Ernest Jones picking off Brock Purdy in the third quarter.
1st and 10 at the Seattle 39 for the Niners. Opening drive of this second half. McCaffrey in the backfield. Play fake to him. Purdy has time. Throws to the middle. Intercepted. Reaching up. Making the interception is Jones. And he gets hammered down at the 30. Wow, he looked like a receiver / tight end. He skied to make that interception. And the Seahawks stop the Niner drive, the first turnover of the game.
All right, so what we see right here, the Hawks come in a too high look, too safety look. You got Brock Purdy under center. He motions Juszczyk to the right side. The ball is snapped, and it looks like they're playing a soft cover two, right? Reek Willen is to the right of Brock Purdy, and because there's no threat to the flat, he starts to get some depth. On the other side, you get your other corner. You got a tight end in the flat, so you're a bit tighter to the line of scrimmage, but it's all about Ernest Jones. He's looking at the eyes of Brock Purdy. He's trying to hit his receiver. I believe that's Jennings going across the middle there. Trying to hit his receiver going across the middle, and it's kind of like he baited him a bit, right? Because Ernest Jones is working for width, trying to get in between the numbers and the hash. But as soon as Brock Purdy lets it go, he dislocates the football and gets after it. But you got to give some love to that defensive line for creating that pressure. You got a blitz, I believe. I can't see who that was, but you get a blitz up the B gap, which gets Brock Purdy on his back foot. He tosses it up. Ernest Jones finds it. That's how you connect the box with the back end.
Yeah, no, and what I love about this is they ran a similar play earlier. The 49ers did. I think it was a drive before, and it got in the back of the secondary just a little bit over Ernest Jones, and he makes an adjustment later in the football game on this play, gets more depth, and he climbed the ladder.
He sure did.
That is, we know he's an athletic dude, but that is a receiver play. He climbed the ladder, gets full extension, like you said, makes a play, and again, I talked about it in the preview pod. How can you beat the 49ers? It's taking the football away from Brock Purdy, and Ernest Jones did that, and I love to see that from number 13. Speaking of interceptions, there's another one. Our guy Josh Jobs, who I think, honestly, in my book, might be the most improved player on this football team.
Yeah.
He is playing some good football. He also joined the party picking off Brock Purdy.
Purdy's going to drop back 7. He's going to look. He's going to let it fly. Got defenders out there. Intercepted. The second interception of the game for the Seahawks. Coming up with the play is Josh Jobe. One of the Seahawks is down on the far side near where the interception took place. But Jobe, leaping high, picks off Purdy. That's the second pick off of him today.
And what's tough about this is Jobe is in man coverage. And we know what the Niners like to do, dragging players across the field, the shallows, the intermediates, the deep angles. And he's running with his receiver right now. I believe that's Pearsall. And he's running at a 45-degree angle about 20, 25 yards down the field. And he's trailing right on the hip, right where you need to be when you're in situations like this. This is all just want to. All right, he's on his hip. The ball is thrown. He goes up and gets it. But once again, you got to look at what's going on with that defensive line and in the box. Brock Purdy has a cool little pocket, but then you start to get pressure from his left side. He steps up a little bit and just lets one go. And I don't know what he's looking at. There's about 3 or 4 Seahawks over there. And if Jobe didn't get it, someone else is going to grab that thing. But you got to go high pointed and make a play because we know that Pearsall is more than capable of doing that. This is just manned up. I'm on your hip. Throw it up. I'm going to get it.
Yeah, a couple things I love about this play. You talked about his man coverage. He's playing outside leverage, and sometimes with a fast guy like that, if you can't get any hands on, he's just going to run away from you, right? He fights back, gets the leverage in the right point, and essentially runs the route for him and goes up at the highest point. And you mentioned where Purdy's throwing the ball. I mean, Kobe Bryant's in the photo. Reek Willen's in the photo. Witherspoon does a great job. His guy is blocking, so he kind of sinks to get some leverage, make that a tougher throw. And then Josh Jobe just high points it and runs the route like a receiver. And I love what we're going to see from him. And I won't be surprised if we see a lot of Josh Jobe just because, again, when he's on the field, he's making plays. And I love what we're seeing from that secondary. Again, it's too bad that some of these plays didn't result in a win for the Seahawks. And last one we'll flip it over to the offensive side. This was the last drive. The Seahawks drove down the field to make this a competitive game at the end. Sam Darnold finds a JSN for a 40-yard gain.
Cooper Kupp is slotted on the right side. Darnold has time, going to throw. Got JSN near side, makes the catch, inside the 20, run out of bounds. Renardo Green was the cornerback on coverage. He couldn't keep up. Jason Pinnock, the safety, came over. He couldn't make the play. A 40-yarder and a perfect pass from Sam Darnold to JSN on the near sidelines.
Yeah, this was nice. We talked about Josh Jobe manning up and being at the right place and staying on the hip and going to get the football. You got man right here, too. The 49ers did a good job manning up the receivers' offense yesterday. And this is just Jason winning. It all starts with his release. All right, gets to the outside, slap his hands down, clean them up real quick, squeezes inside just a little bit, leaves some space on the sideline for your quarterback, and he just drops a dime. I mean, I think Jason's catch is great, but the throw is even better in my opinion. You put it in a place where only your receiver can get it, outside shoulder, in between the safety and their corner. Right when you needed a big play, you go to number 11. He's there for you. And then the offensive line, just enough. I love watching Sundell here. He has a one tech to the right of him. The one tech crosses his face. He passes him off to his guy and then gets right back because there's a linebacker trying to blitz the A-gap, or excuse me, it was a defensive lineman on a stunt, and he picks him up. It happens so quickly, people don't appreciate how fast Sundell had to sort that out. You pass him off, you see color coming from the right side, boom, you hit him there, you allow Sam Darnold to make this throw.
No, I was just about to say the exact thing about Sundell, because you have Charbonnet coming across, he's stepping up in protection, he goes right one way, and Sundell, that is one of the most athletic plays you will see from a center. That's great on your point. And then going back to the throw from Darnold, if he underthrows it, the corner makes a play. If he overthrows it, the safety gets there. It's a perfect throw, perfect pitch and catch. And as they say, any given Sunday, it's a game of inches.
Game of inches.
It's a game of inches. And unfortunately, the Seahawks were not able to get it done. They made a lot of plays. There's a lot to look forward to, obviously, this season. But for the Seahawks on Sunday, the clock just ran out.
They're just going to let the clock wind down, not even going to bother taking that last time out.
I said it to start. Sunday felt like a playoff game at Lumen Field. Heavyweight battle between these two teams that they had often during the Legion of Boom era. And for me, I'll leave it on this. The gap between the two teams is completely close. Yeah. I know the Seahawks won the last matchup at Santa Clara, but looking over the last 3 years, the 49ers have a lot of dogs and they were in a different position. When you watch that game on Sunday, the Seahawks were the better team, in my opinion. That didn't happen on the scoreboard, but you saw the talent gap and you go, okay, no, these two teams are evenly matched. It's going to be a dogfight all year in the NFC West.
Yeah, and they ran 22 more plays than the Seahawks. You do that, you have more opportunities. You have the football. Yeah. You dominated the time of possession. But on the positive side, the Seahawks defense did a great job, man. Got after the quarterback. Only one sack, but you had some pressures. Turned the football over twice. Ernest Jones making plays. Josh Jobe making plays in the secondary. I'm okay with where this defense is at.
Yeah, this is the tip of the iceberg. I think this defense only gets better, and that's the scary thing because they played pretty darn good on Sunday, so I'm excited for that. JSN, he balled out. He did a good job. We mentioned the offensive line only allowing one sack, and the Seahawks are right there. They're gonna get to work this week. Obviously getting ready to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll get you ready for that on Thursday as the Seahawks get ready to see a former friend in DeKalen's Zacchaeus Metcalf.
DK.
Over there in different uniforms. So that'll be fun to see him. The Seahawks getting ready to travel across the country, take on those Steelers. We'll get you ready on Thursday. Make sure to watch us on YouTube under the Seahawks Press Pass channel. A lot of great content for you there as well. Insiders with Jen and John. Seahawks Stories 50th Season Edition, The Huddle, Hawks Live, and Seahawks Rewind. You can catch Michael Bumpus throughout the week on Seattle Sports from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the Bump and Stacey Show and on The Huddle and Hawks Live, and of course the pregame show Sunday. Seahawks do not get it done. They fall to the Niners 17-13. He's Michael Bumpus. I'm Nasser Kyobe. Until next time, this has been Hawk Talk.